Shalom and greetings in the name of Yahwah. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name given among men whereby we must be saved. Ladies, welcome to Women's Radio Phase 2. As I share with you, I am reminded that I have 8 fingers and 2 thumbs pointed back in my direction. So the things that I share with you, they're not a message of condemnation. It's a message to provoke you in righteousness. Of course, we live in this day of do what you want to. Ain't no man gonna tell me what to do. Much less an old lady. Okay. Y'all was giving me something else this week. I'm encouraged. I've had different things just come my way, and it inspires me to look up words. It inspires me to study. Hey, I'm encouraged, but at the same time, it's a reminder to me to stay notched up, okay? So the name of this little study is called Consecrate, Consecration. This was a great study. And you know what? It's for the willing and obedient only. Yep, it sure is. I was just telling my husband Jerry about this word from the Hebrew today. I made mention to him that you can look at people's Facebook pages and see where they are in their walk of consecration. Thoughts are established first. Now we know this. Thoughts are established first, then actions, whether the actions are verbal, whether they're printed, and the list goes on. So with this in mind now, thoughts first, then actions, the mind of the human spirit is expressed, or it's the mind of Yahwah is going to be expressed. Thus, we come to the following verse, and I'm going to read you the King James Version, and then I'm going to read you the complete Jewish Bible version. Okay, KJV reads first. A good man, or for us women, out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good. And an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil, for of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. Okay, so there's things that's going on within first. Goes on within first. And then, whether if it's of Yahweh or not, it comes out. Now, the complete Jewish Bible reads, the good person produces good things from the store of good in his heart, while the evil person produces evil things from the store of evil in his heart. For his mouth speaks what overflows from his heart. Okay, I'm a weaker vessel. You're a weaker vessel. We know that we've had stuff spurt out of our mouth that should not have been. So what do? We're quick to repent. Forgive me. And whoever was around, this is what I've done. I go to them and I say, hey, I want you to forgive me for what I've said. I want you to forgive me for what I've done. I've been checked in my spirit and it wasn't right. Look, I don't mind making things right if I'm wrong. I don't mind humbling myself. Sometimes it's not been easy to do. But I'm the same flesh as everybody else. And that's called pride. Pride. We don't want to be in a place, a prideful, arrogant somebody that can't be corrected. All right? I don't want to be there. I don't want to be in a place in my spirit that I cannot be corrected. Trust me. This hard-headed old lady has been corrected many times over the years. And I probably will still need to be standing in correction in the near future or the far future or whatever. I must practice keeping my spirit and my attitude under subjection always. And sometimes it's just hard, but we do it anyway. Why? Because that's part of our holiness walk, our strict, straight walk, that set apart kadosh walk. Okay, so we got actions of various sorts. They portray one's commitment to Yahweh within and without, don't they? Kadosh, which is holy, or kol, unholy. So, I want to break down these words, and I want to share with you what they mean. Let's take the word holy first. Kadosh in Hebrew. And most of us already know it means apartness, holiness, sacredness. And then it says holiness again. To be set apart. Now this has a root word that brings out some clarity about this word. Kadosh. And it's the word kadosh. And it means to consecrate, sanctify, prepare, dedicate, be hallowed, be holy, be sanctified, be separate. Set apart, separate from what? Commonplace worldliness, really. Okay, let's read on some more about this. To show oneself sacred or majestic. That sounds funny, doesn't it? I don't know human flesh majestic. I only know one majestic, and that's our Yahweh Mashiach. But he knows what he's saying here in his word, Kadosh. Okay, again, to honor as sacred. All right, to cause himself to be hallowed or set apart. To be observed as holy. To be observed as. In other words, how somebody else sees you. You know, you've heard the saying before, in Christianity, they used to say, sometimes your life is the only Bible that a person reads. Well, this is truth. We're made spectacles. We're either a light unto the world or darkness. So we've got to shine forth his light in our obedience. Okay, now for the counterpart. Unholy. Kol. Unholy. In Hebrew, it's called kol. And from the Hebrew, it means profaneness, commonness. It repeats the word unholy, profane. Okay, this word kol also has a root word. And this root word is halal. Halal. And it breaks it down even more. And it says to profane, defile, pollute, desecrate, to defile oneself or pollute oneself. It could be ritually, sexually, immorally, to be polluted, to be defiled, to make common, to violate the honor of. Oh, it's a big old long thing. It just gets to wound. You can wound somebody. To pierce. Wow. Huh. Its usage is, listen to this. The usage of unholy or kol is prostitute. Whoa. Okay, so this root word we see can go in all directions of what actually is unholy or kol. All right, true. Consecration comes from real, heartfelt conviction, ladies, that stays with you from spiritual babyhood. If one stays before Yahweh in their consecration with a circumcised heart of obedience. Obedience is everything, ladies. Obedience, not to humans, but to Yahweh's word, in what pleases him. I had somebody tell me, oh my goodness, they tell me all the time. I've had a couple of people tell me, you just want me to be obedient to you. This came from a young 30-something-year-old woman who's supposed to have the Holy Spirit for probably 20-something, maybe right out between 18 and 20 years. You just want somebody to be obedient to you. I told my husband that too. And I thought, oh my word. Okay, whatever. Okay, it's what, all right. Look, Yahweh just uses humans. First and foremost, he uses the apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers for the perfecting of the saints. But he also uses the aged women. He also uses them to teach the younger women. And then I heard one preacher say, yeah, and it teaches them the aged women are supposed to teach the younger women to obey their husbands. Yeah, but it gets more into that. If you break down words, that word discreet means teach the younger women to be modest. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that really don't know, even elders or aged people that think that they know, but they didn't break down the words for themselves. And that's their fault because they didn't study. Look, studying puts more responsibility on a person, especially the gray-headed people, because we got to live the life without a finger touching it. And if we mess up, we've got an advocate. Hey, I'm sorry. I set the wrong example before you. And if we're too proud to do that, oh my goodness, we probably need to fast and pray and get rid of that spirit of arrogancy. And usually, okay, I know that excited people that are out with stuff and they're bold in their speech, they can be accused of being arrogant. But Yahweh knows deep within the heart that really, I know for myself, oh Abba, you know I don't want to tell this person that. You know what they're going to say. You know what they're going to say. But every single time I'm reminded of what Yahweh told the prophet. Now, I'm not no prophetess. I'm not a nothing. I'm just a servant of Yahweh, a gray-haired old lady, okay? This is the way I see me. Okay, I'm reminded every time what Yahweh told the prophet. If you see somebody in the error of their way or in their transgression, you go to them and tell them the error of their ways or the error of the transgression. You tell them, okay? And then the blood is off of your hands and the blood will be on their own head, okay? But if you see somebody in the error of their way, of course I'm paraphrasing all this, if you see somebody in the error of their way, and you don't go tell them, then their blood is going to be on your head. So believe me, I know how people are. After 40-something years, I see. And I know from my own hard-headed experiences when I was a young whippersnapper and thought I knew stuff and didn't know stuff. Okay? Who wants to be corrected? And I've told Abba, oh my goodness, you want me to go tell them that? You know what they're going to say. So I'm reminded of the story. And I go to them. And it always hasn't been in the right spirit, I can promise you that. It's been with boldness. It's been with sternness. Of course, new babies are different. People that don't know, you treat them differently. As somebody who's never known anything about word or nothing, you treat them differently. But somebody who's supposed to have had the Holy Spirit for 18, 20 years, and you have to keep going to them, look, I've got to the place where twice is enough for me. A heretic after the second admonition, reject. Not that you reject the person, you continue to pray for the person, okay? You tell them and let Yahweh deal with them, and then you just keep searching, forget about it, just leave them alone, and go find you somebody that's hungry. And this is what I've learned to practice. It's been a long lesson, but I thank Yahweh for this lesson. I'm grateful. If you don't want to know, and you want to keep on doing the way you want to live, so be it. I've told you from the Word, not because I want you to live like me. Look, I have my own stuff that I deal with. And it has been my attitude to the disobedient over the years. But I've learned one thing. Yahweh is merciful. And I've got to do my part. If they never do their part, if nothing ever changes, I've got to get the right spirit and be able to pray for them. And I'm going to tell you, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I was in a place where I was just, oh my goodness. I guess I couldn't see the forest for the trees in this matter. And Yahweh Almighty dealt with me. And I never could understand why this certain person, it was a man, could behave the way that they behaved and open certain doors that should never have been opened and say the things that they said, compromising. And it troubled my spirit so badly. I took it before Yahweh, and Yahweh dealt with me that this was his servant and he would take care of him. Well, so be it. And from what I can see of their walk, I don't see it being taken care of unless they've become seared in their walk. Okay, so they're still Yahweh's business, not mine. I mind my own business. I do what Yahweh tells me to do. I go to others if he instructs me to, and I have, much to their dismay. And I tell them, hey, this word says this and I see this. But if they continue doing what they're doing, I'm to leave them alone and leave them in Yahweh's hands. So be it. Okay, so back to this word. True consecration comes from a really heartfelt conviction. From babyhood. Babyhood. All right. And that's if someone stays dedicated, consecrated unto him. Again, not to humans, to his word. And obedience is everything, ladies. Everything, everything. All right. The word convicted is only found one time in the word, in the English. And it comes from John chapter 8, verse 9. And it says, they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest even unto the last, and Yahweh was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. Okay? We have this situation here where a woman was committed, was caught in the act of adultery. My question was, where was the man? But, all right, it don't matter. She got picked, and she came before Yahweh, and what did he tell him? He that is without sin cast the first stone. All right, so we look at that. And none of them could cast a stone at her. We know that. But they were convicted by their own conscience because they knew. They couldn't throw a stone because they knew that they weren't right in that area. Was it that area? They couldn't throw a stone because their conscience let them know. But I find nowadays, it seems like people's consciences are getting seared. They got a seared conscience. Burned, fried, branded. Why? Is it because they allow too much in the ear gate and the eye gate from the television or outside sources or friends or family who think it's okay to do whatever that is so carnal that they just become part of that and they think it's okay? They think it's okay? But what does the word say? All right, the Hebrew equivalent for the word convicted, let me see if I can pronounce this right. The Hebrew word for convicted is ho-ki-cha. Ho-ki-cha. And it means to convict, refute, confute, generally with a suggestion of the shame of the person convicted. So my question is, where is the shame? Where is it? Where's the shame? Inappropriate actions, modesty for women, what the ear gate and the eye gate allows from those who claim to live the consecrated life of obedience. Where is the shame? Who blushes anymore? Who blushes anymore at inappropriate dress? Inappropriate speech? Inappropriate anything that does not depict true holiness or set apartness, within and without. Remember, holiness, set apartness, starts within. Starts with a thought. And you entertain that thought. And women being the weaker vessel? Oh my word. Anything goes nowadays. My husband usually tells me, if you've told them, meaning to warn them now, then it's up to them to listen, which is the Hebrew word shema, and obey, which is the Hebrew word shema again. Then he went on to tell me, he says, you have to pray, y'all will give them a conviction. My reply to him was, I do pray. But where are they at? Where are they at in listening and obeying the voice of Yahweh? Where are they at? I told him, I said, you know how we were taught, within and without. When we were babies cutting our spiritual teeth on a Christian pew, we didn't know any different. But we were taught holiness within, without, to study the Word. And if it's Word, you walk in it. Well, we walked in a lot of things that got us put out of churches, got us put out of congregations, got us put out of assemblies, got us put out of all kinds of places. All kinds of places got us put out of because we walked in obedience. By His grace and mercy, by His faithfulness, not ours. Our flesh didn't want to do a lot of things, but we did it because it was His word. And we saw it. Anyway, I was telling Jerry about this. I was asking, where are they at? Where are they at in listening and obeying? He'd just shake his head, and he'd either say, I don't know, or he'd say, I don't know. Or he'd say, wait a minute, I repeated that twice. He'd say, I don't know, or he'd say, I know, meaning I know what you're saying. So here we go. All right, here we are. It's summertime. Really hot outside, right? Right. So ladies, where are you in modest apparel in this heat? Where are you? Where are you in front of your children within the home or otherwise? Where are you at? What example are you setting in front of your children within the home? What example? What example of consecration is being set anywhere you go? Jerry said to me many times over the years, you can look at the women in an assembly and tell where the assembly is at in their walk of consecration, dedication. You can see it by looking at their women. Now look, I've noticed the words make common for one of the meanings of unholy or coal. The worldly influence of Jezebel now, it's causing women to become common in their walk, in their consecration. Thus, the example of becoming common no more sets apart women who are supposed to be living for Yahweh in explicit obedience within first, then manifestation of this disobedience outwardly. It's so very sad, but it's true. Oh, you're judging me. You're judging me. Look, I'm not judging you to heaven or in hell. I'm here to warn you. I'm an aged old lady. I've been told to teach you. My husband asked me to do this many years ago. Believe me, I didn't ask for it. But I do, and I get the rebuttal, and so be it. So be it unto me. I know the majority is going to do what they want to do. But I want to be the few that walks the narrow path. You know, the narrow path where only maybe one set of feet can walk, and maybe there's grass kind of trodden down. It's not, you don't see any barren ground, because not many walk that path within first and then without. I find many of the carnal call this a clothesline message with such disdain. Others have said over the years, we're going to preach and teach love. Love only. That's a watered down message of compromise from what I've seen. Oh, well, they'll learn by your example, what you live before them. Okay, well, if that's the case, I can see examples over the years of 28 years in Yahweh that those that have lived 18, 19, 20 years in Yahweh, when Jerry and I haven't been around, they get people aside, especially the new people or new babies, and they say, well, we don't see exactly like Brother Kirk teaches. You know, we believe this. You know, you don't have to do that. This is what we've heard over the years, and it's a shame. It's really a shame. It's a disgrace, and it's an embarrassment, because we're all supposed to speak the same thing. I had somebody raise their voice at me some years ago, and they said, you this, and this, and this, and this, and it was part of their family. And I just looked at him, I said, we don't speak the same thing. And I'm sorry for that. Look, I don't tell you all this stuff because I think that I have arrived. I know I haven't. I'm still the same flesh as anybody else. And I'm capable of falling just like anybody else. But Yahweh's grace and mercy help me. Help me. So, again, we see many of the carnal call this a clothesline message, and no, I'm going to preach love. We see this. But I'm asking those who say these things, what happened to, if you love me, obey Shema, my commandments? What I witness is, obeying his commandments from the carnally minded is a multiple choice thing. That's what I see. Know this. Please know this. I might have a manner of speech that comes across sounding perhaps haughtily, but know this. Jerry and I emphatically plead the blood of the Almighty Yahwah to cover us. Cover us by your blood, Yahweh, so that lazy, lackadaisio, lack of consecration, dedication, and obedience doesn't get on us. Instead, after we've done what we had to do, we just forget it, and we look for the hungry who have a desire in their heart to walk the straight walk, within first and without. Obedience through real humility of a broken spirit and a contrite heart. Ladies, I pray that you will take everything that's taught to heart, search it out for yourself, and I encourage you to be obedient examples, especially if you're an aged woman. What's an aged woman? Well, usually it's 60 years old or showing some gray hair. Of course, we got the premature gray ones, and then we got those that color their hair, and you don't know if they got gray hair or not. Of course, you can see by their example that y'all will help them. Y'all will help us all. Look, I want to get gray-headed gracefully. I want to be that Yahweh wants me to be, within and without. This is not a judgment, heaven or hell message. It's a warning message from an aged old lady that was asked to teach the younger women on radio. And Yahweh has instructed me from His Word to go to them and tell them, much to their dismay, much to the dismay of their family. Look, people are people, and people are going to do what they want to do. But you women who want the strict straight walk are going to have to turn a deaf ear to those that want to stay in their flesh and do what their flesh wants to do. It's hard to swim upstream when the waters rage, especially for women, the weaker vessel. When the storms rage and the fire gets hotter, we don't quit, we don't give up. By His tender mercies, we fall on our face and cry out to Yahweh that we can stay consecrated, dedicated, kadosh, holy. Until next time, the Almighty gives me something wonderful to give like this. Shalom.